go to the next one. So this is a map of like all the flock cameras that we have in Lake Charles, like the Lake Charles area. There's like this app called DFlock that like you can get on your phone. Probably for some of y'all probably already have it, and you can literally just like scroll through. Like it literally works like Waze. Like someone like will take a picture of a flock camera and they report it, and if it's valid, they'll put it on the map. You know what I'm saying? So. And also, like as I was doing, I'll get to in a sec. So the Calhoun Parish Sheriff's Office utilizes flock safety automatic license plate readers, camera systems to capture vehicle data, track suspect vehicles, and assist local law enforcement operations. The system captures time-stamped photographs of passing vehicles, logging license plates and vehicle characteristics like make, model, and color. Camera networks and feeds interface with local law enforcement coordination, allowing units to spot incidents or track vehicle movements across specific zones. And that's from LARP Watch. All the stuff's on my notes. So the exact number of flock cameras in Calhoun Parish is unknown. Like there's not like they don't have like anywhere like online like, hey, this is the number that's currently in this community. When I Googled it, Google AI told me 30 to 60, but like it's kind of hard to see the quality of this, but like when I counted this, like this right here was like 50 something. And that's not even counting the one up in like Beauregard Parish and the stuff out there. And if you scroll south, there was like a little more, there were a few more down there, but like in just this area, there was like 50 something. And Google was saying 30 to 60 in the whole parish. So that's obviously not true. Yeah.
Is the red line heightened?
Yeah.
Yes. Going to the next one. So what are ALPRs? So ALPR stands for Automated License Plate Recognition. It is a high-speed computer system that uses specialized cameras and software to automatically capture, read, and turn vehicle license plates into images, and vehicle license plate images into digital text data. So Flock Safety states that the purpose of the camera is to capture objective vehicle evidence to help law enforcement, schools, and communities investigate crime, recover stolen vehicles, and deter recurring neighborhood offenses. We can go to the next one. So real quick, I'm just gonna run down the different kinds of cameras that we have. So this is like the regular, like the Falcon Flock camera. To my knowledge, this is the only Flock Safety camera that our city uses. There might be some other ones because like the internet might be lying to me, but from everything I looked up, we are only using this one. So the Flock Safety Falcon is a solar-powered, motion-activated license plate reader, a camera designed to capture vehicle data like license plates, make, model, color, and unique vehicle fingerprints. Instead of streaming or recording videos, the Falcon camera captures roughly 6 to 12 still images of the rear of a vehicle when motion triggers it as a car passes by. I'll close that door quick. And so a quick footnote is that those were actually found. They don't actually just take pictures of vehicles. Those actually take pictures of pedestrians too. And there's a little bit about that later. But whenever a pedestrian walks by, it takes a picture, and it's not just like triggered off of motion, because whenever it takes that picture, it can like the AI will recognize, oh, this is a person, and it stores it in a separate file. So like they say that these, from the Internet and Flock Safety was saying that these do not capture people, but from like an independent, I'm gonna get to that later, from an independent researcher, like he like bought a bunch of cameras from Flock Safety and was running tests on it, and as he was running tests, it was taking pictures of like him and saving it in a separate file from where it would save files, pictures of cars. So.
But Louisiana only has plates in the back, so if it takes a picture of your plate, anybody could be driving that car. Even traffic light cameras, they catch the driver. So how do they?
I don't know, but like I'm not sure, but all I do know is that from what I've seen, they do take pictures of people, and they make it like a distinction between, oh, this is a person, oh, this is a vehicle. So yeah, we can go to the next one. So this is a different kind. It's a Condor camera. So this is a pan-tilt zoom camera, an AI-powered pan-tilt zoom video security camera made by Flock Safety for law enforcement and private community surveillances. Unlike Flock's traditional fixed automatic license plate readers, the Condor is built to stream live video, record archives, and actively detect the following moving subjects like pedestrians in real time. So this one actually will move and follow people as they walk. I have seen no recorded data or evidence of Lake Charles having these, but I feel so first of all, if they already have the other ones and they can sell them on these in the future to get more money out of them, they probably will. And these, we'll move on to why these suck if you'd like to. Go on to the next one. So Flock Freeform, so pretty much the way these work is that it takes all of that data and it puts it into like a search engine kind of. So police officers can't look up like, it doesn't have like facial recognition, so they can't like look up, show me like whoever on at this time, but they can look up things like it says right here, like race car or sports car with stripe, or red pickup truck with dog in the back of it. I almost put like as a joke, like single mother with children, because of how much they literally like use these to stalk people, but I was like, let me not, because I'm gonna share this. But literally, you could put that in there, you could find like Flock would be like, here's a picture of that. So
how do they keep the information?
Information varies. That's in here too. Sometimes it says 7 days, sometimes it says 30 days, but they have found pictures from like way before that, and I have that in here too. Yeah, we can move on to the next one. So I just want to mention these two. The Calcasieu Sheriff's Police Office Department uses Skydo autonomous security drones, specifically utilizing the flagship Skydo 10x10 paired with automated ground station docking setup. I just wanted to mention these because these fly over my house, like literally all the time actually. And I didn't know what they were until like I started doing research and I found out that like, and I was also like, okay, maybe it's just like somebody like in my neighborhood who has a drone, but like I live off of 3rd Avenue, bro. Like nobody's giving their kids drones. And then I saw there are actually like the drop spots like near my location. And like because I live off of 3rd Avenue, like police officers go there all the time. So like I'll be outside of my garden and then I'll like hear the buzz. Go ahead.
So I have a DJI Nano 2, right? So not too big with drone. And if one of theirs is up, because I live off of 7th Street, the other
Yeah.
7th Street, so and like if one of theirs is up, it would just drop out of the sky.
It like, that's crazy, like it jams yours. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
But yeah, so I was just like seeing those, I was like, what are they? And then I started looking them up, I'm like, the drones. But anyways, we can go on to the next one. So Calcasieu Parish Department and the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Department use several different kinds of surveillance cams and not just Flock. These include ALPRs, drones, dash cameras, body cams, etc. The majority of people are not opposed to most of these forms of surveillance and even encourage their use by law enforcement, like body cams. Like we all want body cams on police officers, right? You know what I'm saying? So why is everyone so mad about Flock? So let's get on to that. Let's get the juicy now. Go to the next one. So Android 8.1. All Flock safety devices run on Android 8.1, or it's called Oreo. On August 7, 2016, Checkpoint disclosed details of 4 vulnerabilities, codenamed QuadRooter, of the Qualcomm chipset at the Hacker Conference in DEF CON 2024 and attracted global attention. Android 8.1 made massive headlines for putting 900 million Android devices at risk due to flaws in its Qualcomm chipset. Over years of tracking the accumulated number of common vulnerabilities and exposures, CVEs affecting Android 8.1, including its framework, system components, media libraries, and underlying Linux kernel. And I don't know what all of those things are, I'm gonna be so real. but the experts are saying it's bad. And I do know what some of that is. The true number of published vulnerabilities is actually in the thousands. So literally the system itself, 8.1, had over 900 published vulnerabilities before it was like discontinued in 2021. So it hasn't had an update since 2021, including a security update. And like, that's a long time for technology. So no security updates since 2021, and it had 900 published vulnerabilities before they stopped studying it. So the amount of like vulnerabilities it has now literally are in the thousands. So let's go to the next one. So that's the first reason people don't like Flock. If any one of these 4 vulnerabilities is exploited, an attacker can obtain full control of the device and unrestricted access to all data in the device, including sensitive personal information. At the time of publication, no Android device manufacturer claimed to patch all security holes. This was why the Hong Kong Computer Emergency Response Team issued a security bulletin for it with an extremely critical severity level. 8.1 was discontinued in October 2020 and has had 0 security updates since then, meaning it has even more undocumented vulnerabilities. And so this is an example of like Flock cameras. This is like literally in my neighborhood, directly up the street. Like I covered up the road because like but this camera is pointing across the street and it's getting like a bunch of houses that go down like on this side of the road. Like it's facing the road and it's facing into their front yards. And then you can't see it here, but on the other side of the street, there's 2 cameras over here facing the opposite direction, pointing into the road and pointing into everybody's front yard. You know, and then like literally we just went over like the thousands of vulnerabilities, and literally like it has like 4 extremely critical vulnerabilities. If someone takes over one of them, they can get access to everything in the device, and it's literally pointing at people's like front lawns in our neighborhood. And like one of the things I'm gonna say before I go on is like people are like he said like the data that's exposed, the data is literally pictures of people sometimes, literally pictures of children. Like it's not just data. You know what I'm saying? It's people, it's your information, and it's physical pictures of citizens, like including children. Let's go to the next one. And then I also have documented proof of that. So this is like just a little, made like block safety with like the everything burning down around it. Like this is fine. Yeah, you can go to the next one. So then at least 60 to 67, and actually they're found more, so it's like 75 now. But at least 60 to 67 safety surveillance cameras were found streaming live video and archive footage openly to the internet with no password, no encryptions, and no login credentials required. Random people had the ability to track people's location with video data availability for up to 5 months prior in some devices. And it literally says that, and like literally, you think I'm lying to you. Like, that's why I put those there and I attached my notes. So.
That's your car, isn't it?
Right.
But, and they literally, like, it says that sometimes it's up to 7 days and it gets purged, and sometimes up to 30 days, and there was stuff from 5 months prior. Like, where was I? The exposed devices were flawed Condor PTZ cameras, sophisticated systems that can pan, tilt, zoom, and use artificial intelligence to track people and vehicles automatically. Researchers found that they could watch live feeds up to 30 days of archive, download up to 30 days of archive footage, access administration panels, and change configuration settings. Flock described the issue as a limited misconfiguration on a very small number of devices and said it had been fixed. However, the company did not specify how long the cameras were exposed or whether unauthorized access had occurred. So like, and these are the most sophisticated cameras that they have. You know what I'm saying? These are their most sophisticated cameras. We have their low-end crappy cameras. Like, and these were just streaming open to the internet. Yeah, we can move on to the next one. So beyond viewing the footage, the exposed interface allowed configuration changes. Someone with a malicious intent could have downloaded all archived footage for later analysis or sale, deleted recordings to cover up crimes, adjust camera positions to monitor different areas, or disable the cameras completely. And then this is saying, this is just like a little article I saw. It's like Flock, schools are next for Flock safety automatic license plate readers. And so like one of the examples I gave the police officer who I was talking to at the door was like the problem with these cameras is like, so like let's say that there is a license plate reader at like in front of a school, right? And it's sitting here taking the license plates of all the parents that are dropping off their children to and from school. You know what I'm saying? And then it has all these vulnerabilities, and somebody can get on there and get the data from all of these parents dropping their kids off to school. Like that's a huge problem. And yeah, this isn't even the most sophisticated camera they have, and the more sophisticated one was like bugging.
You get AI to do it for you now. You used to have some sort of knowledge before.
Yes, yeah.
Like Sicko can just ask Claude or whatever.
Yeah, or like Grok or something. I mean, I don't know if they really could do Grok, but like, yeah. Yeah, we can move on to the next one. So Flock safety has been accepted about their device in the past, like a bunch. So like some Flock safety claims, data is encrypted on devices, is in transit, and when stored, system controls help prevent unauthorized access. I already proved that wasn't true, and I'm gonna do it more. In plain terms, data stays protected the whole time, every search is recorded. Logs and review tools help agencies check usage and address misuse. This means use is visible and reviewable. Flock LPR cameras only capture vehicle data. They do not collect personal information or facial recognition or anything tied to individuals. They don't have facial recognition. That is true. Flock safety claims that Flock safety claims to help solve north of 14% of all crime in America, which is like, go ahead.
Well, are they connected to systems that do have facial recognition in real time?
I'm not sure. I don't know. With that being said, like they also don't need facial recognition to like catch a lot of people. Cause like for instance, like what the police do now with Flock is they'll be like, oh hey, I got your license plate on this road. Now I'm gonna get a warrant for your cellular data and I'll match them. You know what I'm saying? So they can see somebody through a camera and then go get a warrant for their cellular data and be like, oh, they were at this location because their cell phone says they were here, and then I have this camera image of them. You know what I'm saying? To truly identify a person. And there's a bunch of other ways too. But yeah, so this is like a little snapshot I took directly off their website. Used for public safety processes, public safety investigations, authorized case-based workflow, controlled by your local agency, not used to watch people, not mass surveillance, not tracking individuals. use outside or to use outside the defined purposes. In plain terms, it's for cases, not for watching people. And this is like, I literally like took a screenshot off their website. Go to the next one. And that's not true. So this is data that was pulled directly off of like a flock camera. Like this was pulled, this was in like, you can literally see, this is in Dallas, Texas. This is like blurring out people's literal license plate numbers. It like literally says suspect vehicle, Dallas, Texas PD, the area that it was taken in, the time the picture was taken. Like that's all the information that was taken directly off the camera, not encrypted at all. So like their data is not encrypted, that's a lie. When tested, flock LPR cameras, including the Falcon, which is the one we have here in Lake Charles, were noted to take pictures of pedestrians and save them in separate folders. So this is pictures that it was taking in the factory before, like months prior to where it was like deployed. So they're saying, hey, the data purges itself after so much time. Like this literally is a picture of the factory. Like these are like, it's kind of, the quality's not the best, but these are like the little like holder that goes on like the front of it. Like it's like this, anyways. But so none of the data on any of the 67 exposed flock cameras was encrypted. Some flock LPR systems had pictures in their memories from the factory where it was produced months prior. So there was another one of these that I wanted to put up on here, but I didn't do it because, and this is like even worse, it was the locations of police officers. And like it literally had like the police officers, the like the routes that they would take, like their patrol areas, the number of their vehicles, their badge numbers, like it literally, and like that was being saved and logged in these cameras, and it was unencrypted. So like it's not just bad for like citizens. I mean, police officers are citizens, but it's bad for our law enforcement too. Like in the long run, like it's not. But anyways, you can go to the next one. So this is a picture, like literally, this is a contour camera that was literally facing a swing set. And I zoomed it out because there's literally two children like playing there. So like not used to watch people, literally children on a swing set. And then this is a family from another exposed contour camera, like walking down like a park, you know? And so like they literally state that their cameras are meant to monitor people. Like, and like, obviously they're not monitoring cars, but it literally says everywhere on their website, like, hey, we do not monitor people. You know what I'm saying? But like, what are you talking about? Like, it seems like stupid.
Are they trying to justify it by saying it's high crime areas or anything?
They like stay away from any kind of like verbiage like that, like at all. Like they're just kind of like, their whole thing is just like, hey, these cameras are gonna be so great. They help stop crime. Like they don't mention like anything about like high, you know, like inner cities or low income areas or like nothing like that. They're just like, your community would be great with the flock camera. Like that's pretty much like all their website is, and it just kind of talks about how great they are and how they help solve north of 14% of crime, which I kind of forgot about, but that's not true. Like that's based off of a study from 2 flock employees. That like, so it's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, that's just on the face of it, like that's a lie. Like there's no singular entity is helping solve 14% of crime in America. Like you're lying to my face. If we go on to the next one. So this is the cybersecurity expert Ben Jordan, who like did a lot of this and like documented a lot of this stuff. And this is him like reading flock safety statement about how they fixed their cameras from an exposed like flock safety camera. Like I think I have the link to like the full like hour format video, because I did like get some stuff off of him and like find some notes from that. But so like literally, because so him and his team were the ones that went and found the 67 exposed flock cameras and like kind of like were like, hey, this is what's going on. And then Flock was like, hey, it was a small thing, we fixed it, it's done. And then he like made a video of him reading their statement from an exposed flock camera. So they claimed a cellular carrier partner accidentally moved a small number of their Condor PTZ cameras from a private IoT network onto the public cellular network. The company stated that the issue affected a limited number of devices and some had been fixed. And like at the time that article was printed, it was 67, now it's 75. So they found more actually.
Why would a cellular carrier need access to, like,
what's the word? I'm not qualified to speak on that, but like I had the same question. I was like, you know, like they're lucky that I'm just like dumb and I don't understand things, but I was like, so cybersecurity researcher Ben Jordan reading Flock Safety's response to IPVM on its system vulnerabilities and claiming to have resolved the issue from a Flock Safety camera streaming directly to the internet with no login credential with data encryption. So move on to the next one. So now these are a few case studies showing like how these license plate systems actually like affect car theft and crime. So this is Vallejo, California. So they installed ALRPs in 2015, and their rates have been fluctuating ever since. In 2019, Vallejo had a rate of 738 stolen vehicles per 100,000 population in 2019. By 2022, auto theft was higher than when the ALPRs were installed, and 98 of them were installed. This one doesn't look that bad on the face of it, but you see like right over here, this is when they installed them. The red dot at the bottom is the clearance rate. The blue rate is the how many cars are stolen per 100,000 people in the area. Also, as I was doing this, I was like, why were we moving like this in 2005? Like, what happened here? Like, why did it get so not serious and then all of a sudden so serious? and then so after these were installed, at first, you're seeing the crime rate drops, and then in 2020, because this is like the COVID year, so this is also when like it's naturally going to see a crime spike. Like it starts to go up, and then the clearance rate starts to drop again. So in the long run, like what this is kind of showing, that people figured out, oh, I can hack these systems and see where all these cars are, and now instead of solving the problems, they're kind of creating them. And I have a way worse one coming up after this one. Did you have a question?
Well, I was just going to say that between 2000 and 2005, the dot-com bubble was happening in the Bay Area, which is lots of people losing their jobs and essentially leaving the Bay.
Okay, heard.
So just like anyway.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
That time period.
Because I was thinking, I was like, eventually I'm gonna learn it, like because like something had to happen. Because like whenever I see like a crazy fluctuation in a graph like that, like I'm always like, why? But and they're like literally, there's always an explanation if you dig far enough. So let me go to the next one. So this is Fairmont, and so like you can see like they installed the cameras in 2017. You know what I'm saying? And then so at first the amount of cars started to drop. So in 2017 we had what, like 900 cars stolen for 100,000 people who lived in that area. And then at the end of 2020 we had over 1,200 cars being stolen for 100,000 people in the area. And then what also starts happening, their clearance rate starts dropping. So it's like as time goes on with these, and there's more charts that I could have brought up, like because this is just like a study from 2 cities. But so for instance, there was Bakersfield, California that I was going to put on here, but I just ran out of time. Bakersfield, California, I think installed them in, I could be lying about this, but I want to say it was 2017, like sometime in the teen era. And then they became, and they still might be actually, like the car theft capital of like America, when like after they installed them. So like, and there were more studies on that, but I forgot to put that one in there.
Do you know if there's anywhere any documented correlation between like the unsecured cameras and these people that have certain types of equipment to hack specific types of cars?
Like as in like these cameras coming to communities and then people buying the equipment?
Yeah.
I'll look into that. Like I didn't put that on here.
Seeing how steep that is and like.
Yeah, like I saw that, I was like.
Yeah, they're like, you know, there's like, for example, parts of Atlanta, they call them the Kia Boys, right?
I was just gonna say that.
The Kia Boys. One of my really good friends.
So I'm like, are they like going and looking at this and buying these cars?
No, literally. Allie, if you're watching, the Kia Boys, they got her. Go ahead.
Okay, well, in the 80s and 90s, boxes of guns appeared in black neighborhoods. And what if this is just
right? They
man, I could go on a big rant. We could talk about this man named, I think it was like Ronnie Ray Liston, who like literally was his. I'm not going to, but his whole thing was like he manufactured and made guns in foreign countries for the CIA to fund revolutions, and he was getting a bunch of guns and dumping them in California and getting them sold to like the Crips, the Bloods, the Black Panthers, like. Anyways, but yeah.
You wouldn't even have to you just need somebody in your crew that can access these insecure camera feeds. Then you have somebody that is looking at the data of where the cops are at the time that you want to steal this car, where the type of car you're looking for is found. Like, you don't even have to purchase any equipment aside from.
Yeah, one person has to, and then what they do is they start selling that data to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, one person who's smart and understands how to collect the data, and it's not that hard. Like,
Is that the kid that was running that crypto?
I'll tell y'all off camera how easy it is. I'm not going to right now. But like there's literally a website you can go and pay a lifetime membership for like $49. That literally does ridiculous things. But I'll tell you about that off camera because I don't feel like that'd be illegal. But my FBI agent's watching. You're going to the next one. Okay, but like why? So why would a company mass produce and distribute a device that they knew, like they have to know, because it's world famous for doing this, they knew runs on unsupported software that has over 1,000 known vulnerabilities and was responsible for putting over 900 million devices at risk? At best, they mass produce an easy to make and cheap product to spin a profit, endangering communities in the process through ignorance. Or at worst, they maliciously design a camera system that is meant to be hacked into in order to take advantage of sensitive information. Like it's literally, like truthfully, it is one of the two. Because the system it runs off of is world famous for putting 900 million devices at risk. Like that sounds fictitious. Like that had to be like all the Samsung devices on the planet at that point. Like, I mean, I don't actually know, but that's what it feels like in my head. Yeah, no, literally. So why am I mad about Flock? Being opposed to Flock cameras does not mean you have to be opposed to all forms of surveillance. There is a huge difference between a school's privately owned cameras recording events on campus and an ALPR with 4 extremely critical severity level vulnerabilities capturing the license plates of every parent taking their child to and from school while storing their data with an outdated, unsupported software system that is literally world famous for putting over 900 million devices at risk. And like that's like altogether like that's why people are mad about Flock. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Another question, and you may be a no, but you know, we recently just changed to the QR codes for our inspection stickers. We're gonna be moving to that, right?
I thought we were removing the inspection sticker like completely. We're just changing.
No.
He lied again, bro.
It's gonna be a
It
sticker.
is going to be a sticker with a QR code. And
I like
so there are already jurisdictions that have these kinds of
Yeah.
QR codes. Do we know if these cameras can read those QR codes?
I
And
mean,
the reason why- and
yeah,
so,
I don't know.
Do you think there's somewhere that we can look that up? And the reason why I'm asking is because when that bill was initially proposed, my immediate concern was anybody can read any QR code.
Yes.
If you have a cell phone, you can just go up to a QR code and the information, the way
Yeah.
that, as of now, what they're saying is gonna be attached to the QR codes that will be on our cars, will be your name, your address, like anything that's on your vehicle registration, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a stalking victim, if you're a DV victim, if you have a restraining order and somebody has a phone and they just walk up to your car and they can scan it, and now thinking about the fact that anybody that could access these cameras could possibly do the same thing, like that's,
How does a cop pull you over for an expired inspection sticker?
There's-
They literally,
they're going to scan.
from a distance?
That's
or-
unconstitutional.
Listen, I have so many questions about that. About
Yeah,
it, so,
and-
yeah.
in my brain, just real quick, in my head, I think that they probably 100% could read those.
Yeah.
Like,
If they
I
can't
forgot what I was gonna
see
say, but like, I feel like yes, it's like that'd be really simple because like, as long as the picture was clear enough, you know what I'm saying?
That's
If the
what I
picture
would-
was clear enough, I could point my phone at a monitor with it on it and scan it. So I don't see why not.
Right,
You know?
that's what I would think, and so like the threat, it just seems like it's creating more threats than folks
Is
that
it,
do
is it
that.
like a special type of QR code that only a certain device could read for police?
Nobody so far, every time that I've asked that to anybody that was associated with that particular piece of, I can't speak for other jurisdictions where it was, right? But when they proposed the bill here, every time I asked that, they could not tell me. And so then the problem becomes for me that each parish here does things differently anyway, right? And so if you have all these different parishes purchasing different cameras, or they don't have the same QR code, they don't have the budget to purchase the right camera, there's so many issues that this could create, and nobody can answer the question.
You brought up false imprisonment or false arrest.
Right.
Surely there's got to be lots of litigation out there, and if enough litigation comes up, you would think they would stop.
Yeah. I didn't, that's like the one thing I didn't get to is I wanted to have like a little compilation of people who were wrongfully like arrested or stopped to buy Flock cameras, but I just didn't get to that.
And then also, just being honest, right, counterfeit inspection stickers exist now.
Yeah.
So can
Sure.
you imagine if all they have to do is print a QR code, and now it looks like you're the person that was driving this car,
Yeah.
And your
And it's-
information is attached to this, and now this car is involved in a crime, and now you're on the hook for whatever happened in this.
Yeah.
Literally, I can
Right,
go
like
back
this.
and it's
Yeah, I feel like there definitely has to be a way to make it to where like there's a password when you scan the QR code to get the information. Do I like there? Obviously, that has to be a thing. Do I think that like we would go through the trouble of doing that?
No,
No,
it's cheap.
because I literally just showed you like all this unencrypted data. So like it's like I.
And we're cheap.
Yeah,
It's
like,
the
I don't
lowest
think they
bid,
would.
The lowest purchase.
Did you have something to say, Jack?
Well, yeah, I mean, it also is like, it is cheap and which is convenient because it is more accessible, but also the intentional aspect of like, it is a fascist wet dream to have an unsecured backdoor on 900 million devices worldwide. I mean, it just reeks of.
Yeah,
malicious
and
stuff.
one of like, go ahead.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to rant with some such a history nerd. But one of the things that that's really reminded me of as I was reading this was like the information wars that was going on between like the Soviet Union and the United States, like during the Cold War, and like how America was like getting their ass beat because they were doing things like this. Like they were just doing dumb stuff. Like at one point they tried to like dig a tunnel and like bring a cable from like one country like all the way to Moscow, and Russia found out was like feeding them false information and like ruined it. But it's just like America has a history of literally doing very, very unsecure things in the name of like security, like security, like defense or information safety or like whatever, and it backfiring like majorly. But anyways, so this is also a picture from a Flock Condor camera, and that's literally a husband and a wife unloading their child into their truck. So like, this same camera also picks up license plates. So like literally, if like they're literally loading their kid and stuff in there, some expensive tools or whatever, they drive around the corner, the Flock camera got them and their license plate. You know what I'm saying? And somebody stalking them could like be like, oh, I'm gonna go home and steal whatever he just got from Lowe's or wherever he was, you know, or like whatever they want, literally, because the data, the video of them putting their child into their truck is on the internet. We can go to the next one.
Are all these purchased just by law enforcement, or can like a corporation, like you mentioned Lowe's, that's big parking lot?
Yes,
Can
corporations
they
can
buy
buy.
their own flock
Yes.
camera? Oh, wow.
I was looking into if there were any in Lake Charles that did. Cause I like whenever y'all go to Home Depot and stuff, like I know y'all definitely see like the trailers with the big light, you know what I'm saying? Those are not Flock safety. I couldn't find out what those were, honestly. And I didn't really have time to look into those a lot, but like so for instance, like Flock is not the only camera system that is insecure like this. They're just like one of the worst ones, and they're just one of the biggest ones, and it's what's in our area. So that's what I'm focusing on. But like, yeah, there's definitely other ones in our area too, and individual people can buy Flock
You
cameras.
mentioned they were solar powered. Are any of them hardwired, that they're harder to spot? I mean, it's easy to spot a solar
Yes.
panel, but
I'm not sure. I did see an article that said that they were hiding into other things. One of the things they're already doing, like they'll have like the Maddie found this out actually. That's James, it's not Maddie, but if she was here, she actually found this out that they have like, you know, like it's like the little box that tells you how fast you're going as you go up to it in like school zones. They've been like mounting Flock cameras to like the back of those. So like it like shows your speed, and then as you drive past it, it'll like take pictures of your license plate. But yeah. So some of them might be hardwired, but all the ones that I've seen in town have all been solar powered. We can go to, wait. This is examples of government overreach. Is like where this little slide part starts. So police chief gets caught using license plate cameras to track his ex-girlfriend 228 times. A police chief used cameras 228 times over 4+ months to track his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend's vehicles. Segwitch police chief Lee, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name because I'm scared. He used Flock safety license plate readers to track his ex-girlfriend, according to the Wichita Eagle. He also used his police vehicle to follow the couple out of town. So like, this is like a police chief, 228 times in 4 months. We can go to the next one. 18 police officers arrested in Georgia. In just a matter of months, 18 law enforcement officers in the Peach State have been arrested for misusing Flock safety camera data in what seems to be a deeply concerning trend, highlighting the need for stricter oversight of mass surveillance technologies. Late last week, the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, located in the metropolitan Atlanta, announced that Sergeant I didn't pronounce these names before, or like try before I got on here, you know, and because this is like copy pasted off of an article.
I love that
But,
we have diverse departments.
yeah. No, look, hey.
EEI.
But had been fired, arrested, and charged for allegedly misusing Flock license plate reader technology, but did not release details on which data was accessed or why. His arrest marked the 17th law enforcement officer arrested for similar actions across Georgia, including 5 officers in Albany, 4 in Richmond County, 3 in Fayetteville, 3 in Cherokee County, and 1 in Greene County. And that's from USA Today and Reasons.com. Yeah, and then this is a meme I made. Yeah, it just says like Flock made on women, it's like a smoke, and then yeah, Georgia PD. And then also like once again like this is only the people that get caught. Is one of the things I also
Right.
want to highlight. You know what I'm saying? And especially like if we start talking about like clearance rates of like police officers and like different demographics and neighborhoods, like it's like our laws are like very, very selective. So that's all I'll say on that. We can go to the next one. This one's also really funny. So this guy, I mean no it's not. But this guy was stalking his girlfriend, and is it on here? I'll read out, it's on the next slide. So basically, this guy was an investigator who was investigating this man who was stalking his girlfriend through the cameras, and then the private investigator, or the internal affairs investigator, was then found to also be stalking people using Flock cameras. So like the person who was given the task of literally going in there and finding out who was abusing the Flock cameras was abusing them himself.
He
So like,
realized what he could do.
exactly. Yeah, and he was like, and he might have been doing it before actually. The date's on the next one. So this is from the ACLU of Wisconsin. It is outrageous that a Milwaukee police and Charles Affairs detective who was entrusted with investigating former officer Joshua Alea for using Flock to stalk a romantic partner has now been charged with using the very same systems to illegally surveil 2 people. And incidents of law enforcement misusing Flock have become a troubling and persistent pattern throughout the country and within the state. And it's just kind of showing once again just how easily this technology can be abused. We'll go to the next one. So Joshua Alea searched the locations of his ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend more than 170 times using the Milwaukee Police Department's license plate reader technology. And then Chapman allegedly used the Flock safety camera network to track the movement of 2 individuals 20 times between January 2024 and January 2025. So yeah, like I mean, not to say at least he was being modest with it, like not at all, but like literally it's just so crazy, like 170 times. Go ahead.
So today, a license plate reader, does it, if you put in XYZ license plate, does it send a notification, okay, we spotted that license plate, or does somebody have to sit there manually and go through all the film?
So from my understanding, they use AI to do that process. So all the information is in the data or in like their their data center or whatever, and then they will they have like a search engine and they'll type in like a prompt, either like directly like, hey, this license plate number, like show me where it pinged in the city, or it could be like a search engine where they're saying like, show me everywhere you saw a red Corvette with a white stripe, or every time you saw a red pickup truck. You know what I'm saying? So those are the ways that people look through it, and it's like they use AI to automate that system. But yeah, it's a little funny Spider-Man I made. The next one, some more overreach. On September 30th, 2025, Flock Vice President Bob Carter logged into the Dunwoody PD's Flock system and looked at a camera in a children's gymnasium room of a private business in Dunwoody. It's such a funny name. He did not look at any other cameras in the entire 400 camera network that day. The business shared their cameras directly to the PD under the pretense that the access was solely for real-time critical incident reports. Locke and Dunwoody elected officials both say this was for a sales demo. I'm just gonna give everyone a sec to just be disgusted. Cause it's gross enough that they would cover it up because we obviously know the truth, but it's also like, what do you mean it was for a sales demo? Like you were trying to sell your Flock safety cameras, and your first thought was, hey, check out the inside of this children's gymnasium. And you're the vice president of Flock. Like that's literally just disgusting. And as I was putting this thing together, I'd be working, and he would his face would just pop up on one of the slides, staring at me, and I'd be like, ugh. Anyways, but yeah, this dude is literally a PDF file, and he's literally Flock, or allegedly the Flock vice president. So move on to the next one, which is another reason I
Also,
really
what are the chances that the vice president is actually doing a sales demo? They would have to sell people.
The vice.
Yeah, no.
No, you're so right. And it's just, the fact that they try to cover it up is already disgusting enough, but then when they said like, hey, this is a sales demo, like, get out of here.
That's even worse.
Yeah, no, literally. Move on to the next one.
But
Then we, go ahead. Go.
it's like, if he's marketing it to other pedophiles, and it's like,
Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah, no, literally. ICE illegally accessing flock data. ICE agents do not have an official contract with flocks. The company provide. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Go back one time.
And see.
So, only approved users with role-based access set by your local agency. Every search is recorded and reviewable. That means no anonymous access. Homie got anonymous access, and he was not authorized by a local agency. So like, flock line. That's like the third time I got him in this. We can go to the next one. So ICE does not have a formal contract. ICE officials have asked state/local law enforcement officials to search flock cameras on their behalf, reportedly more than 4,000 times. 4,000 lookups have been conducted at the behest of the federal agents of the federal government for immigration purposes, giving federal law enforcement side door access to a tool that it currently does not have a formal contract for. When conducting a flock lookup, state/local law enforcement is reportedly not only able to search their own flock cameras, but also those in other states or even nationwide. So officials and people in other states can look at our flock cameras.
And that's why those cooperation agreements that local law enforcement entities will have with ICE is a problem. Because
Yes.
They can just say, oh,
Yeah.
you guys work with us on everything else.
Exactly.
This is law.
And they can literally act like an enforcement agency in one place and get data on flock cameras in another city that's not in their jurisdiction.
It's disgusting.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then also, and it's like, we're literally at a time where like ICE is like, it's what, like 6 people dead now in the streets? Like, so, and they're just like straight up, it's an understatement to say they're horrible at their job. So like these are also like questions that we should be like asking our city council whenever we like take further like, you know, whenever we do more things like, hey, did you know that these systems run off of this and this and all these bad things? Have y'all been collaborating with ICE and other enforcement agencies? Like, have y'all been doing all the other legal stuff all these other people have been doing? But anyways, so, and this is ICE detaining a legal citizen, not a resident, a legal citizen. Literally, this is in Minnesota, just like dragging him out of his house. This is like a famous picture now. We can go on to the next one. Flock Safety lies again. So this is their CEO. So Garrett Lane is CEO of Flock Safety, which operates 8 LPRs in jurisdictions nationwide, put out a statement admitting that while it is true that Flock does not presently have a contractual relationship with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security or ICE agencies have been engaged in limited pilots with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, and Homeland Security investigations to assist these agencies in combating human trafficking and fentanyl distribution. There's no evidence that they were actually doing it for that purpose. If they were, then sure, that's great. But there's no evidence that they were actually doing it for that purpose. Like, they just kind of like popped up and said, yeah, we did give them this information, but it was for this. And like, literally, I just showed y'all 5 examples of Flock Safety lying. And then also, the reason that this matters is that they didn't even go, it wasn't ICE being like, hey, calling a police department going, hey, can you give me this data? This was Flock Safety directly giving data to ICE without there being any kind of middleman, like the police, like anyone who actually had a contract with ICE, right? And go to the next one. Ownership, title, and interest in the customer's data belongs to and are retained solely by our customers. Flock maintains a limited license to access the customer's data for the sole purpose of providing our services, which would be things like fixing servers, taking their cameras back offline. It wouldn't be like their services wouldn't be sharing information with a federal agency or with any other agency because, like they literally just said, ownership, title, and interest in the customer's data belongs to and are retained solely by our customers. They lied. Just another time. We can go to the next one. How getting flocked violates your rights. Okay, so I am not a lawyer, which is why this confuses me even more because it seems so simply clear cut to me. Like, I thought about making this more in depth, but then I realized I really didn't have to. Like, so current and historical physical locations and tracking by the government is generally protected under the Fourth Amendment, requiring law enforcement to obtain a search warrant supported by probable cause. So this is why a police officer would need a search warrant to get like your cellular data to find your location, right? Landmark rulings by the United States Supreme Court, such as Carpenter versus the United States for historical cell records, and Chattery versus the United States regarding digital locations, historical and geofaced warrants, establishes that individuals maintain a reasonable expectation of privacy in their movements over time, even when that data is held by a third-party tech company or cellular provider. We have already had Supreme Court cases in the United States that have said that my past and present location is protected under the Fourth Amendment, and I do have an expectancy, or I do have a reasonable expectation of privacy when I do things like travel the road, and you know what I'm saying, or go to the local grocery store or whatever. On top of that, if you literally look at the Fourth Amendment, the rights of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. If you look up the definition of effects, your car is included in effects. The data on your car is included in effects. So like, against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and with no warrant shall be, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation. So basically, it's all already unconstitutional. It's literally all already unconstitutional. Go
How
ahead.
old is that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just thinking, this case had to come before the Supreme Court before it got stopped.
Jamie, look it up on your cell phone.
So, I'm not very clear, but
No.
I am some classes.
Look up when Chattery
Chattery
v. the United States was. Want me to spell the first one?
To be constitutional, it's okay for the police department to buy the cameras and subscribe to like clock servers.
Oh, you
But
okay.
technically, anytime they wanted to actually track, they're still supposed to apply.
Yes, they need a
for
warrant. Yes.
So where are we losing?
And then also on top of that, if my data is in this system and you are not using a warrant, violation of my Fourth Amendment right. If the data is in this system and it's unprotected and people who are not law enforcement officials are getting access to this data because the law enforcement officials put the cameras on the street, violation of my Fourth Amendment right. So like,
But how does, when did this happen in relation to 9/11?
So this course, Supreme Court case in particular, I'm sure there's more, but this one was decided in June 29th of this year.
Yeah.
oh, that was this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That 100% passed me by. I didn't even know that was this year. That's crazy. So
I wouldn't be surprised at that if there's more cases kind of like this.
But aren't there like espionage loopholes to stuff like this? I guess is what I'm trying to say, like since
yeah.
in the last.
And that's where me not being a lawyer comes into play.
Right.
You know, but
I don't know either, I'm just curious
So
about.
because of basically, if they can cite it as a safety risk and potential that's what allows them to get away from it every time.
But then you can breadcrumb, if you have all this data though, you can literally breadcrumb yourself to anyway, I don't have to explain, I don't know.
no, you're good. You're good.
That's,
But
It's
yeah.
insane.
and I know that this is how it is, right, I get it, but like seeing it, you know, on a, thinking about all
Yeah,
the.
because like I was just like thinking about it like with like my high school education and like my history book nerdiness, and I was just sitting there like, okay, this obviously violates the Fourth Amendment, like just in my head, and then I was like looking it up, and I was like, yeah. So like now, literally, they're all already unconstitutional, like which would imply that whoever made the decision to put them on the streets violated their oath because they broke the Constitution. They literally broke a law in the Constitution.
There's a lot of
But-
that.
Yeah, but like no, yeah, and you're so right, But yeah, but once again, like I'm not a lawyer, but it seems like very clear cut to me.
Yeah.
And we can go on to the next one. And as like someone who's just like really anti-imperialist, I just kind of like had to mention this, especially like someone who's both my parents come from different countries. Like I'm a second generation immigrant. The same people who fund flock safety are the same people who fund Palantir, and it's literally by what's this dude's name? Peter Thiel and the Founders Fund. And like I don't even like. I don't want to get too into it because I will rant and get angry. But like, I don't even have to like really like tell y'all all the horrible things they do. One of the ones that just makes me the maddest. Palantir gave Israel and the IDF a bunch of information and like technology on AI, and they used it to create a system called Where's Daddy. Yeah, and Where's Daddy is literally used to track like families, like literally to track like families and fathers and bomb them. And because like one of the things that kills the most amount of children in Gaza right now is parents giving their cell phones to their kids, and their kids taking their cell phone and they're like, oh, that guy's a terrorist. Boom. So, but anyways, that's just one of the simple bad things that they do. But we can move on to the next one. And I think we're pretty much done here. So who do we need to engage to get Flock Safety the Flock out of here? So the first ones would be the Lake Charles City Council and the mayor's office, or those are like the two big ones. So we need to file public records requests. We need to organize community members to submit written comments to council members. And we need to mobilize residents to pack city council meetings and testify in favor of introducing a formal cancellation ordinance. What my like vision for this would be to organize like a bunch of people. So first of all, like start a petition, get a bunch of signatures on it so that we can get people who don't have time to show up and do stuff like that, at least have their voice to be like, hey, I'm one of these people, I don't like this. Another thing we could do is organize people on like together on a specific date to all go and like, you don't even have to speak if you don't want to, but to just all go like and just show up in support. Go ahead.
I have framework for how we could organize something.
I love to hear that. Okay, heard.
Keep going. Just
Okay, so
add that
yeah,
note.
just to get people to like come together and like for like the public comment sections, we could have like 3 or 4 people build like a compounding argument and go one after the other and just kind of like drop like, hey, these are the reasons we don't like these. These are the reasons these should be out of our community. And then we can have a bunch of people also there, like don't even have to speak, but just there like in support, like filling out the. I don't think we have a card if it was during a public comment, but
On agenda meeting, there's not you only if you want to speak at the agenda meeting, but at an actual meeting to vote on an ordinance or to like get this conversation on the official agenda or whatever, there are like comment cards
Okay, heard.
for or against.
yeah, I think like that's something that we should definitely pursue. And it's also like the distrust of flock cameras is something that's already like rife. You know what I'm saying? Like so, and like one of the reasons I decided to have this meeting is like so many people were talking about it. I was like, okay, well let's like come together and organize about it. So like but yeah, that's all I really had for this one. I will be like sending out this PowerPoint if y'all want. So like for sure. And yeah, that's all I really had. The last thing I want to do, so you have like a little paper in front of you about like the reasons you don't like flock cameras. Is there like anything you want to add on to that? You know what I'm saying? Is there anything that you like learned and stuff like that? So if you want to do that, just like you can write that down, like take that home. But that's all I really had, and thank you for coming. Go ahead.
What's the cost of this?
Of what?
Of, say, one camera?
Mm.
And who pays for it?
I don't know the cost of one camera. We can look it up real quick, but I do know that we are paying like $75,000 a year or something for the whole system. And then I don't know what the end like amount is. But
what do you call it, the whole system? Is it, how many cameras is the whole system?
we don't. I'm not sure. We can figure it out right now. I don't know, but I do know that like they don't have the number of actual cameras. But for whatever they're paying for, I'm thinking it's for the system is in like all of Lake Charles. I think that is like the $75,000 we're paying a year, but I could be wrong about that.
Well, if it's the sheriff's office, that's
Well, the
Sarpsborg Parish.
That's a
not
whole
used by
separate
Charles,
thing, yeah.
but does the marshal's office have it? Does the Lake Charles City Police have it?
I would imagine they both have their own version of surveillance and they probably intersect and use each other's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Department did just spend what, like $1.7 million on new surveillance equipment, or they
Yeah.
rented, like, it was either 1.3
Is that like-
or 1.7, something like that.
Do you know if that's like they spent that on surveillance that's currently on the street,
I
or
have
if that's
no
like you don't know?
idea.
Okay, I was curious.
Well, we can check that out, I'm just
Yeah.
remembering as he's asking this.
I heard a big number, like 1 point something.
The sheriff's
at the
department?
sheriff's office.
It was like on drones, cameras.
Okay,
that
yeah,
sort of
I
thing.
believe that.
So, could be some money being spent upgrading existing
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure, some money being spent on new stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah. From my understanding, the sheriff's department are the ones that actually like paid for and have like full access to all the cameras, and then they will collaborate with other agencies. But other agencies do also have like the police department or wherever. They do also have like their own surveillance cameras too. Like they're not, I'm gonna have to do more research on that, but I do know that they also do have some of their own cameras, but like the sheriff's office has like the flock and the most of them, like they have like the most cameras for sure.
This LCPD definitely has traffic cameras on red lights and things
Yeah,
like that,
mhm.
for sure. They're not in, I've run a few red lights on accident. I've never